morning. Monday morning, early. I got up right away. First thing I did was post a video up to YouTube, and then I got straight to work. Finished cutting the rear end off the frame. The frame's up in the air now, and I'll show you that in a minute. Got a little bit of cutting to do, and a ton of welding to do. So we're going to get on that. I got a lot of cleaning up to do on the frame, and so yeah, we'll get right to it. First thing, thank you, new subscribers. That's awesome. And thank you for leaving comments. I appreciate the comments down below, and keep them coming. So yeah, we might as well just get right to it. The frame is in the air. So this is about, belly high. Rear end, I'm just going to leave there until I get to that section. But, when you're welding and you're in a comfortable position, you're going to get better welds. When you're fighting, welding up, or you're cramped in a spot, or, it just makes for a mess. So, yeah, be comfortable, get in a good position. Chances are you're going to get much better welds, and you're not hurting yourself doing it. So there's a couple things I got to do. Like I said in the last video, I've got to cut here, around here, down and across to clearance my upper control arms. So I'm going to get on that. I'm just going to do a whole bunch of welding, and I'll come back when I got something to show you. I'll show you this when it's completed. I got to box it in and stuff. So anyway, I'll show you that when it's completed. You've seen me weld before. I don't think you want to sit there and watch me weld for 4, 5, 6 hours. So I'll come back when I have something substantial to show you. I figured I'd show you what's going on here. So I cut my piece out, and there's the piece there. I'm just going to flip it over and, weld it right back in place. So that's an easy fix. I had to cut in here just to get the disc in here, but I'll weld all this up. So when I get it all welded up, I'll show you what she looks like. I think it's going to be pretty slick. I'll have to box in this little end here, and this little spot right here, and then weld the crap out of everything. So that's where I'm at. Man, I tell you, it's so nice to be using a hoist the way it's supposed to be used. Saving myself a ton of time and effort. I'll show you real quick what I did here. So I notched it, I boxed it in, and here's your, so if you can see here, I'll try and line this up. What the hell's going on? Oh, there we are. Okay. So you can see I got full adjustment now, all the way back. So yeah, we're good to go there. What I did was, when I cut down here, I just followed this line to the other side, continued it on. And like I said, I cut that piece out, flipped it around, and welded it back in. Boxed in the end here and here. So I just got to finish burning this in and cleaning up my welds. And I think everything's going to be just fine. It looks all right. Doesn't look stupid, like me. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna burn that all in, and then we'll have to do the exact same thing on this side. So guess we'll just carry on. All right, so this side's pretty much done. I got one little spot right in here that you know, I can't get in there with my grinder. So just like I did in this spot right here, when you get into an inside corner, I use my little mini grinder with a little tiny stone on it. This thing revs about 1,000,000 RPM, but you don't want to do that. You want to keep the RPMs fairly low because all it'll do is chew up the little grinding stone. So just keep the RPMs down and just, you know, just clean up any of the gunk and crap that's there. And yeah, so I'm just gonna finish this and then get on the other side and do it all over again. I've got a good start on this one already, so it shouldn't take too long, and I'll come back when that's all finished. So there you have it. Not bad. Looks nice and clean. It's pretty good. And finally, the welding is done up here. You know, everything's cleaned up. All the welds are cleaned up. It's welded in solid. Looks pretty good. So I've got my clearance. Everything fits. I've cleaned up everything on the frame up to, well, the frame rails basically are done. Just that cross member. And a few other spots around where this emergency brake crap is that I got to cut off. But I think it's going to be easier to cut that off with the frame upside down when I do the bottom side. So, you know, I was going to cut some of it off, but, you know, I dropped my grinder and broke my very last disc. So I got to pick up some discs tomorrow. So that's the way that is. Anyhow, so we got quite a bit done. Yeah, I feel good about it. You know, a little bit of surface rust like this, it's not a big deal. The epoxy sticks to that like baby shit to a blanket. So, you know, it even likes it. So you don't have to worry about getting it all shiny like this. But, you know, you want to get any of the loose scale and stuff off. And that's pretty much what I've done. So what I'm going to do now, because I don't have a disc, I'm going to grab the rust converter. And I'm going to get inside all of these little holes here and spray the snot out of it, both sides. I've done where I boxed it, you know, wherever I boxed the rails, I've already done the rust converter on it. And once that rust converter is dry, before I paint it with the epoxy, I'm going to do the same thing with a spray bomb of Candy Apple Trem Clad rust paint. You know, just get it in there and just spray the crap out of it. Get as much paint in there as I can, every hole, you know, that I can stick the nozzle in. And it'll help. I mean, it's not going to cover everything, but it's not going to hurt. Certainly not going to hurt. So, yeah, I should be flipping this thing over tomorrow, getting the underside. And like I said before, I like to pay special attention to the underside of the frame, because, you know, you'll never see the top of the frame again. Because, you know, once the cab is on and the box is on and all the sheet metal and everything, nobody sees that. You might see little bits and pieces around the engine and stuff. But, you know, car guys like to crawl underneath the cars and see what's going on. So you check the underside of the frame, and that'll tell you a lot about the quality of the build. You know, if the underside of the frame looks good, good chance that the rest of the car is good. So, yeah, I like to pay special attention to the underside. We'll see what we got, and I'm going to get after that rust converter right now. Just spray it all over the place and empty out the can. To hell with it. So, until I get a disc, I can't really do a whole lot more. You know, maybe a wire brush wheel or something. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with the way all this stuff turned out. There's a lot going on there. So, you know, when you're welding, you know, up the side, around, across, down, you're welding all along here, you're welding the boxing plate in, you're welding the cross member in here, and I still have to weld underneath, but like I said, I'll do that when I flip it over. So, yeah, we're in good shape. This thing should be painted in a couple days, so I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah, so I did the rust converter thing, it dried, and I just laid the rust paint in there. Any hole I could get, you know, the nozzle of the spray bomb in, you know, this one, any of them. So I did that all the way up to here. This area over here, you can see those holes underneath. I'm going to wait till I flip it over. It's going to be a lot easier to get at. So yeah, and then like I said, this emergency brake stuff, all these mechanisms are all over the place. They're all coming off. I'm going to unbolt the rear cab mount and get some paint underneath there as well. Clean that all up. And one thing I did mention is this cross member in the back here. This is probably going to have to move back. I decided to go with a 67, 68 Mustang gas tank. The reason for that is it's completely flat on the top. It also has a center filler deck. So it'll come up to the bed of the floor, and it's got a nice mounting flange on it. So I'm going to wait till I get my tank in. I've ordered it already. It should be in next week before I clean up this, you know, last, whatever, 2 feet of frame. So, yeah, I just got to clean off some of the black stuff off of the steel. And that's about it. I'm ready to flip this sucker over and get underneath it. So, yeah, it's going good. Man, I tell you, I am filthy. It's dirty work, especially kicking up all that, you know, dust and rust from cleaning the old frame. But you know, she's this close to being ready for epoxy paint. So we'll get that done hopefully in the next few days. Flip it over, get the underside all cleaned up and done. And once it's all done, 2 coats, I figure. Let it dry. While it's drying, I can paint all the little bits and pieces, the control arms and the springs and all that stuff. I have to order new spring bushing kit for the rear. The rear ones are, they're like a brass bushing, and they have grease fittings on them. So I'm going to go with the original ones and order a set of those in. I think Rock Auto has them, and they're pretty cheap. So got to get those in so I can get the springs in. I also have a set of axle seals and rear brakes, including drums, the whole bit, brand new. They're takeoffs. A buddy of mine went from drum to disc on his 9-inch rear end in his Eleanor Mustang, so I'm buying the rear brake setup off of him. And yeah, we'll get the front suspension in. I also want to pick up some goodies for the engine, dress up goodies, you know, chrome valve covers. I'd like to go maybe an Edelbrock aluminum intake and a you know, maybe a 550 carb. Get that on there. I got to check out, I got a couple of sets of headers. We'll try them out, see if they work. If not, I'll have to get on the old interwebs and see if I can find a set of headers. And yeah, get the engine painted and detailed and get that in, transmission in. We can run some brake lines and stuff. I did order the fuel tank. It was supposed to be in this week, but it's not going to be in, well, they told me next week now. It's delayed, so we'll see what happens. So that last 2 feet of frame, I'll you know, I'll get to when the tank gets here, because I have to weld in bit of a mounting structure for it. So yeah, when the tank gets in, we'll do that. But I got plenty to keep me busy on this thing until that comes in. I've got a boatload of parts to order for this thing, to be honest with you. So you know, I'm gonna have to make a list, figure out what I need, and to keep the ball rolling. Had an outstanding number of views on my last video, and new subscribers. Once again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know, tell your buddies, tell your chums, spread the word, because it's working, man. Word's getting out there, and I appreciate it. This is my 75th video. I can't believe I've done 75 of these, but 75th video, and I'm having a blast doing them. I love it. So It's good fun, and it keeps me working my ass off because I need content to put these videos together. So you know, forcing myself to bust my ass, and that's good. It's good. I feel good, and I enjoy it. So leave comments below. That's awesome. I like the comments, and I like to answer the comments. I try and answer every single one. I don't think I've missed any, even if it's just you know, thumbs up. But yeah, keep them coming. I enjoy it. And one other thing, I got a bit of a surprise for next week. I cut a deal today. I bought 3 of these same trucks from out west. 2 of them are 5 windows. 1 of them is a 3 window with a bunch of parts, no frames or anything. Lots of fenders, running boards, doors, 1 box. So I'm gonna be speaking to the owner. Maybe talk about a cab swap. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, towards the end of next week, I should be taking delivery of these trucks. They look in pretty good shape by the pictures. Pictures can be deceiving, but my buddy Ian, the truck driver from Wolf Train Services, good guy. He tells me they're really nice shape, so I'm going to take his word for it because he hasn't steered me wrong yet. And we'll see what happens with that. So rolling right along, I'm going to have more junk in the yard. My neighbors are going to hate me, man. But anyway, that's where we're at. And, you know, if you don't do anything else, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.